So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And I do this just so we can, land a little bit. Because if I launch straight into the Vajrasattva, your mind's going to take a minute or two to catch up. So wherever you've been today, whatever you're thinking about, just bring your mind to where your body is. Take a deep breath and just try and settle. If your feet are down on the ground, it's really good to have a cushion underneath your feet. And definitely something firm under your sit bones. And if you have tight hips and knees, it's a really good idea to have something to support them. So just so you're not uncomfortable. So we just want to be comfortable. You don't have to have a perfect posture, but in order to be able to concentrate, especially when we're all starting out, even if you've been meditating for a while, it's good to just be comfortable. Right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And let's just imagine our spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. You can imagine someone is above or behind you, very gently lengthening your spine. So let's just put some air in between those vertebrae that we've been kind of pounding all day as we've been running around, sitting at desks, doing whatever. So just relax and take another nice deep breath. And just imagine your spine is lengthening as you align your shoulders with your hips and glide your head back as much as you can to align with your shoulders. Now tip the head slightly forward. This helps to relieve any agitation in the mind. And the eyes, if your eyes were open, they'd be looking down along the length of your nose. The tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. Let's bring our awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the nose, and the cheeks, and the area around the mouth. And let's just bring our awareness to the back of the head, the scalp, and the occipital bone at the base of the skull. Relax the ears, the temples, and just imagine you have a little torch, and maybe that torch is a nice yellow light that's warm. You're shining it into your ears. Just imagine relaxing the eardrum, and then as you do that, you'll notice that the very back of the jaw, the deepest part of the jaw, will relax. So just release any tension in your neck and shoulders, the shoulder blades, the upper thoracic, and your throat. Relax the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And let's just bring the mind to the breath. Noticing the sensation of the air as you're breathing in. It's a little bit cooler than the air as you're breathing out. Welcome, Victor. And there may be some sounds in your environment. Maybe it's traffic or birds or pets or people in your home. So just allow those sounds to be there. Let them be part of your meditation scape, your meditation mandala. And try not to be distracted by them. And then just check the thoughts, because you will have thoughts, but try not to engage too much. Allow the thoughts to arise, to abide, and to fall away. keeping the mind on the breath. Just feel. And let's bring to mind all the people of our life. And these are loved ones, our friends, people who have our back, who take care of us, we take care of them, they support us. We do things with them, they're fun, we love them. And then we have our enemies. We don't love these people so much. Maybe they've harmed you. And then there's our strangers. Then maybe it's somebody you see on the way to work, down in the supermarket, but you don't really know their name, you don't think about them. And think that at any time in your life, any one of these groups of people could change places. That very dear, very best friend might change into someone that you no longer like. And that stranger may become your dearest, dearest friend. And the enemy may even become your very, very best friend. So you never know which way the chips are going to fall. This is the nature of this world we live in. And it's very good to remember we should have equal concern for each of these different groups of people, because they're all the same in their wish to be happy, they wish to avoid suffering, and have this unbelievable potential for the enlightened mind, just like us. So we think we do this meditation for all these people of our life, and by extension all sentient beings. We can think particularly of all the people who are involved in the current conflict in Ukraine. It's causing a lot of concern all over the world. So we just try and hope this practice that we're doing, sending good energy, helping to pacify the situation. We just, our little tiny meditation we're doing here, we just make prayers that it can in some way help, even if it's just a drop in the ocean. So just think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we're going to create positivity with our mind by doing this practice. So we think first of regret. Actually, before that, just rejoice. We didn't die today, so we're still alive and we still can do this practice. Amazing. So now we think of regret. Sincerely regret from the depths of our hearts anything we've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, or in past lives. And the reason to regret is based on the logic of karma. Given we experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma, having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So we know from present suffering we don't want really any more. So logically, it makes sense to pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. Then think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then it's just regret our delusions, all our anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. So now what can we do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And the first little section here is refuge. So we turn to the Buddha, who is like a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify it. And we're not needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can think of him as this is the mind of your teacher, your guru, your lama, trusted mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of mud but untainted by mud. That's the analogy that I use for the lotus and the mind. So our delusions are born out of, our enlightened mind is born out of the delusions, similar to the lotus growing out of the mud, but yet being untouched by the mud. Same with our mind. Born out of delusions, yet the enlightened mind is not in any way sullied by our delusions. His face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. He has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. He has a 5-pointed crown on his head, and this is embedded with beautiful sparkling jewels, and he has jewelry around his neck as necklaces. He has a waistband, like a belt made of jewels, and on his upper arms and his wrists and ankles. And he's wearing earrings and has the beautiful silken celestial robes in the Royal Indian style, and a scarf around his neck and arms. And it's all just kind of floating and billowing in the wind. And again, it's all made of light. And he has an aura around the crown of his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so just very quickly, because I'm a little bit behind, in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think of someone you have harmed and someone who's harmed you, and try and just develop in your mind a wish that they no longer suffer. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, for the people of our life, and for all sentient beings. And think, I must purify for their sake. And so next is the actual medicine. This is the power of the remedy. This is doing the practice, the recitation of the mantra, and visualization. So let's imagine, first of all, purifying the body. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar from his heart, and it sort of arcs around and pours into you through the crown of your head, and it fills you completely, and it keeps pouring into you quite strongly, quite forcefully, and eventually forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've done to any sentient being with your body. And it disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta me bawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of speech, and again Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of the speech, and this kind of overflows quite strongly and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. So first of all, just think that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mudza vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, rejoice and feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. Just think how amazing would that be. Every time someone hears your voice, it benefits their mind. It will be wonderful. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when we walk into a room and we switch on a light. That light dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The minute the light, or the second, the millisecond, the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart touches our heart chakra, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all our depression and anger and attachment and neediness and wanting and jealousy and bitterness and all these kind of weird and wonderful things that are in our mind that cause us to harm others and ourselves, all this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dire Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dire Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think now, there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. And we can imagine we can practice using the previous visualizations of the body, speech and mind, a couple of mantras for each one. Or we can just think of nectar and light pouring into us through the crown of our head and filling us completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Satsame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe hum Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe hum Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe hum Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe hum Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe hum Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe. Now feel you are completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve. And this really is like a really, really crucial part of this purification process, is we make a decision to not harm, to refrain from harming. So again, just rejoice for the efforts that you've been making for such a long time now, some of you. And then notice the progress that you're making, no matter how tiny. Even if you made some kind of shift between yesterday and today, and you think, yes, pat yourself on the back. Fantastic. So just think of something that is doable, a timeline for you that's doable, if it's only 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Or just think, well, I'm not going to gossip while I'm sleeping overnight. And you then keep that promise to yourself. Somehow, once you maintain that promise to yourself, it's sort of encouraging. So think of something to work on between now and tomorrow when we meet again. And now let's conclude. Imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE calls this union oneness. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma, there is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So in this way, place your mind in that emptiness for a little while. As much as you understand this concept of emptiness, we can think of all phenomena as being empty, as being dependent arisings. They do not exist concretely from their own side. And you can also think that perhaps the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And let's just do our long life prayers quickly For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we are again, gone like a dream, ready for bed. Okay, everybody. Sleep.